yourself from that person, really find who you are as an individual, and then maybe you can come back and be friends with them when you're ready and they're ready. Flip side of that is maybe you're the one that broke up with them and you're really not hurt. You could easily be friends with this person and like not care, but that person is heartbroken and you know it. If that's you, don't be selfish. Don't be the one that is saying, you know, you're just talking to them, you know, as friends, whatever. If you are the one that broke up with the person, you have the power and you know that like they're gonna come running back to you anytime, and they would, and like you just kind of talk to them when it's convenient for you. You need to stop and pull yourself together and stay away from that person and let them heal. And if you don't, it is mean and nasty. So that's my thoughts on that. Alright, here's a juicy question. And I'm gonna kind of just, there's a couple questions that ask about this. So somebody asked, would you be comfortable saying how often you and your boyfriend have sex? And what is a normal amount of times to have sex per year, week, or whatever, if you're single in a relationship. So, there is really no, like, normal answer for this. Like, there's not, like, an exact average. If you are in a relationship, and it's a healthy relationship, there should be that, like, passion there. There should be that love there. So, realistically, I hope that you would be having sex often. You know, for me, it could be, I don't know, anywhere from like 2 times a week to like 5 times a week. It just like depends on the week. And then, ladies, we get our period, or we're exhausted, or we're separated from our men from vacation, and then it might be a week or whatever. If you're in a relationship and you're at the point where like you've not had sex with your boyfriend in like a month, I would just ask yourself probably why that is. Of course there's outliers. If you just had a baby and you can't have sex for 6 weeks or whatever it is, or your partner is going through something really devastating, they just lost somebody that's really close with them, or is how to feel comfortable with being naked and doing sexual things with a man when you're young and pretty new to it. I'm gonna hope when you say young, like, that I'm not talking to a child, that I'm talking to, like, a senior in high school or something. So, just letting you guys know that. So, okay, girlfriend, number one. This is just unfortunately one of the growing pains that comes with being a teenager and being a young adult. There is just rest assured that why do you think this was the number one thumbs up question on the community tab, right? Because everyone feels this. I remember, like, you know, the first time me and Tony were like messing around and like doing stuff, and I was like so nervous and so excited, and just like you feel hella awkward and you want all the lights to be out and you just don't know what to do. No one knows what to do. Guess what? The boy doesn't know what to do either. He's faking it if he, you know, whatever. So you just have to like accept it's one of those things that the first time you do it, whatever it is, kissing, sex, like whatever, it's gonna feel probably uncomfortable. You just have to kind of like laugh it off and not worry, to try to be this like expert porn star, whatever, you know, the first times you're doing anything, because as you get older and guys get older, it's just kind of like things just kind of happen naturally, and the more people that other people have been with, it's like you realize that there's not like a movie like procedures way that everything is supposed to happen. Every situation with a guy, with a girl, is going to be different, and you just kind of have to like try to relax and go with the flow. Okay, this next one I'm only really responding to because it has so many thumbs up, and I'm a little concerned about why it has so many thumbs up, because to me this is very, very obvious, but maybe it's not for everyone. So, somebody asked, me and my boyfriend do long distance, but he's never talked to his friends about me. Should I be worried? Worried? You should end this relationship. Like, this isn't even a question. Number one, I want to know, how long have you been dating? If you've been dating for a month, like you're calling him your boyfriend, so I'm assuming like he's your exclusive, like your boyfriend and girlfriend. If you were doing long distance and you guys were just starting to hook up, just starting to talk, and it had been a month, 2 months, maybe 3, and you're not exclusive, and he hasn't mentioned you to his friends, whatever. You know, when people just first start dating, they don't always tell their friends, because it's like, why mention it if it's not going to go anywhere? You're like vetting them first before you tell the friends. But if this man is your boyfriend and he does not talk to his friends about you, and his friends don't know you, who you are, don't know that you exist, he's either like dating another girl, or has like another life, or he's like ashamed of you for some reason, which is nothing to do with your fault, because he's obviously not ashamed enough to like make you his girlfriend to your face. But if he's like ashamed of you, you know, to his friends, like that's ridiculous. That's just unacceptable. You definitely need to have a outright overt conversation with him. Maybe it's on FaceTime, look him in the eyes and say, why have you not told your friends about me? Whatever excuse he makes is bullshit. I can't think of even a valid excuse that like would ever be a scenario. And you just need to ask him straight out, like, what is the reason you're doing this? Because I know it's either there's got to be another girl, or you know, something's wrong, but that's not normal at all. Your boyfriend he doesn't have to be shouting from the rooftops and posting on social media every, like, you know, conversation you have, but like his friends should know you exist if he has a girlfriend, for sure. So I'm sorry that this guy's a douche. Get rid of him and date a guy that's like in your area, so he can't be shady. Alright, the next question is the topic of not choosing motherhood and what to say. I'm a 30-year-old woman, and people react like if I'm committing a crime for choosing not to have children. The most common comment seems to be how much in life the salmon, what are you having? Like, just change the subject on them. Like, that's so rude that anyone would ever tell you that. Alright, so next is just kind of the topic of self-esteem and body image issues. There's a couple questions here. So, the question I'm looking at now is, I'm a big girl and always have been made fun of for being big, which gives me horrible self-esteem. I can't even look in the mirror without feeling disgusted. How can I help my self-esteem? I know I can't change myself until I love myself the way I am now. So, definitely spot on with, you can't change yourself until you love yourself now, because you're just not gonna have the motivation probably to do that. But I know that this is a really hard thing, and it's definitely not something that there's like just a set answer to, that you can just be like, oh, okay, that's cool, I'll write that down and implement that into my life and I'll be good. But what I think it starts with is to really just kind of like stop overthinking the situation and really kind of putting it into perspective. How I kind of think about looks, personality when I'm feeling down about myself in general is that I am not going to be everyone's cup of tea, whether that's my look, my personality, my lifestyle, my choices, my choice in men, whatever. There is not one person that fits every single societal norm and standard like to a T. Like Barbie, okay, who has a perfect hourglass figure, and she's got Ken, and she's got her kids and her mansion, and da-da-da-da. Like, this woman doesn't exist. So you just have to not put so much like of your energy and like self-loathing into like your looks. You are beautiful. You are gonna be beautiful and enough for your husband, wherever he may be, or your partner, wherever he or she may be in this world, regardless of what size you are. It's gonna be based on your personality, your vibes, your aura, your energy. Like, that's what people fall in love with. You can be beautiful at any size, and you have to look at yourself as a whole of all the different Because if you're silent in the beginning and you're nodding your head pretending you understand, then in 6 months, when you actually are supposed to know your shit, you're gonna be screwed. So ask your questions. Also, as a woman, don't be afraid to assertively but not aggressively stand your ground. It's just so important to, if you feel confident about a decision that you're making, feel confident in that decision, express your confidence, practice presenting beforehand, make sure that you always have reasoning and analytics to back up your opinion. That is one thing in the business world that you always need to relay everything back to the bottom line. What's this doing for the company in terms of revenue, in terms of brand awareness, whatever. Always have your notes, have your reasoning for all your decisions.